Hello, yes we are back. It's the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel here for our Breeders' Cup preview, which was such a success last year. So many winners coming out of the Breeders' Cup. We also had our Breeders' Cup live last year, which was a fantastic video that we had. Jack and I sitting on the sofa, snacking on some pizzas, watching the American racing. Back in a few winners. Jack, haven't spoken to you for a couple of weeks. How are things?
Yeah, all good on my end. Thank you. Just ticking along out here in Hong Kong. Off to Happy Valley tonight for a 9 race card there. I know you've been busy on holiday. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. I've been out on a wedding in Portugal. Flights have been delayed. The storm's causing carnage. I'm absolutely shattered. You can probably tell by my voice that I'm very shattered, so I do apologise.
Hey, you've got a lovely tan though. A lovely tan
It's,
going.
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's more of a burn, I'd probably say, but we'll go along with it. Jack and I are going to provide our top. Well, I'm going to provide my top 5. Jack's got 4 selections for the Breeders' Cup. Rather than previewing race by race, we thought we'd give you our best selections for the meeting. So without further ado, I will kick things off. I've got the 5 and Jack's got the 4. So my first selection does come on Friday. It comes in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, 11:40 p.m. British time. This race, and it's Mountain Bear for the Aidan O'Brien yard. Now this I think is a very late developer for Aidan O'Brien. Dylan Brown McMonagle is aboard this horse. Ryan Moore will obviously be aboard River Tiber, who is going to be the first string, but it won't be the first time that a first string has been beaten in this race. If you actually go back and look at his form, he hasn't done too much to note. He was actually 4th in the Champagne Stakes at Doncaster at the Ledger meeting, but Aidan O'Brien sent him to Dundalk where he won last time out, which is fascinating. I know this race is still on the turf, but I'd imagine Aidan O'Brien was trying to get this horse used to the round tracks and seeing how he'd handle a quick bend at Dundalk, and he handled it absolutely fine. His RPRs have steadily improved and improved and improved. I've got a feeling that this race could end up into a little bit of a mess. I think the 14-1 about Mountain Bear, like I say, it wouldn't shock me if the second string were to win it. And Dylan Brown at Monagle is an excellent jockey, and I'll be taking a chance at 14-1 each way on Mountain Bear in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf on Friday. Jack, your first selection.
Yeah, it's an intriguing race, the Juvenile Turf, I think, because you've got River Tiber and Unquestionable, and I don't think either of them are milers. River Tiber stepping up from the 6, Unquestionable, who was second to Rosalien on a quick 7 over in France. If Unquestionable does go and win, I think that Rosalien form is Rosalien's just going to be one of the best 2-year-olds we've definitely seen this year. On the night, I'll probably back a couple of American raiders in that, I think. But my first selection is going to come in the Juvenile Turf Sprint. Big Evs is your 3-1 favourite. I really hope he can go do it for Mick Appleby and Tom Marquardt. It'd be a great story for a small team. I know Give Me the Beat Boys is out there as well. But my selection is actually going to come in Starlust. Who I think is actually going to appreciate the step back to 5 furlongs. Was 5th in the Middle Park last time out. Travelled really strongly. Looked to get a little bit unbalanced there on the Roly Mile. Finished a respectable 5th. Weakened probably in the last 100, 150 yards. Won in the Sweet Serenia Stakes over 6 furlongs on his penultimate outing, and was second at York before that. But no, I do think this step back to 5 hasn't been seen over 5 just yet, but I think his pedigree suggests that the step back to 5 is actually going to suit, and Frankie Dettori is on board, so I'll be very surprised if the colt does go off as big as 33-1 that we've got at the moment. But his pedigree suggests the step back to 5 won't matter. I think he's got some raw speed there that we saw in the Middle Park, and he's 33-1 in the Juvenile Turf Sprint on Friday.
Wow, a couple of big each-way prices to kick things off, and I'm going to change that completely with my next selection. We move on to Saturday, where I've got a race at 6:30, which is the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And yes, it's boring, but he had to go in the squad of 5 and had to get a mention because it was the story of last year. It brought a tear to everyone's eyes, and I can't wait to see Cody's Wish back out over a mile. I mean, it was all over YouTube, Twitter, whatever, when this horse won, and if it didn't bring a tear to your eye, there's something wrong with you. But it was a real memorable moment. Larry Colmer saying, that one's for you, Cody. Just got everyone, even got him in the commentary. But this horse has just been so consistent all year. I was kind of hoping he'd turn out into a classic horse this year. I was hoping that they'd be able to give it a go, but hasn't quite worked out. He stepped up to 9 furlongs and it didn't work out for him. They then dropped him back and he just showed his speed again. He's an out-and-out miler. I know he's about 6-4 on, but he is if he goes and wins again, there's going to be tears all over Santa Anita Park, and I cannot wait to see it. That's the 6:30 on Saturday. Jack, your next selection.
my next selection is going to come in the mile, the Breeders' Cup mile, and Master of the Seas I really wanted to put up, but he's drawn the outside gate 14 and 14, so I find him quite hard to back. Casa Creed's an interesting one at 10 to 1, but it's going to actually be the Japanese raider Songline at 7 to 2, who is drawn in 10, but I just think these Japanese horses can be a little bit overlooked or overbet, and it's hard to work out. At 7 to 2, perhaps leaning on the side of caution of the Japanese raider being a little bit overbet. But I was really impressed with the way Songline actually did it. The mare. I just had to have a check then. Last February, when winning over in Riyadh, it was beating Casa Creed, Happy Romance, Pogo, Happy Power, Rohan. I was really impressed with the way she did it. She was under pressure. She was all out. I thought she showed a really good attitude. She then went to Tokyo in May there in the Victoria Mile, finished 5th. It was respectable enough, but this season she's come on leaps and bounds. She beat Sadashi at Tokyo, then went and won again at Tokyo over the mile, beating Seferos in the Yasuda Kinen, and was second last time out, but was staying on at the line over 9 furlongs. I think this drop back to a mile should suit. It's hard to weigh up the European versus American versus Japanese form, and even versus the French as well that you've got there. But I do think hopefully Songline, I know Morge is a very worthy contender, but I think Songline, the mare, may be able to go close at 7 to 2.
Okay, I was going to go in time order, but I might as well put up my selection for the Breeders' Cup mile here, like you say, 8:30 British time. No shock here. I'm with Kalina at 13 to 2. I think she's an absolute dreamy bet in here. I know she's drawn 11, not ideal. If anyone's going to deal with this, so it's going to be Maxime Guillon who takes the ride, obviously in the colours of Goldacova that was so successful out here years ago. This horse here, I actually went back and looked at the form of this horse, and it's hard to judge her form on quick ground, due to the fact that, Longchamp, when she won and beat Kinross, it wasn't good to soft, was it? It was quick, it was good ground, there's no doubt about it. And this horse beat Kinross in really, really good start. And you go back and look at the prior start on quick going, it was actually in the Prix de Sandringham on Prix de Jockey Club Day, which was another big performance, absolutely demolishing Saturn, who then has since come out and beaten the mighty Big Rock. Had to get him in at some stage, didn't he, after the QE2 performance? But she's a very, very speedy filly. I think she's going to come over here, and I think she's going to probably pop out and try and get a position early. It's going to be one of those where you're hoping to get that position early, but I think she's so underestimated in all her races. I think she went off 22 to 1 for the foray out at Longchamp. She was far too big there on quick ground, and it seems like she could go off a fairly decent price here at 13 to 2. So I'll be with Kalina in the Breeders' Cup mile. Jack, your next selection.
It comes in the filly and mares turf. You've got Inspiral stepping up in trip, Warm Heart stepping back in trip, and I think Warm Heart is going to be the one to beat here. I know Inspiral does probably come here with a little bit more of credibility, I suppose. Has to give £4 to Warm Heart. Ryan Moore is on board after, of course, James Doyle has rode her to success on her last 2 outings and now taken the Watland job. So very well done to the Doyle. I think that's a much deserved retainer that he's got there. It's nice to see him be the number one somewhere. But no, she clearly loves quick ground, doesn't she? She's very game as well. When she won the Yorkshire Oaks, I thought probably it looked like she actually wanted 10 furlongs, if anything. You saw that over a mile and a half in the Ribblesdale when she beat Lumiere Rock, Blue Stocking, who was by no means disgraced at Ascot a couple of weeks ago. But Warm Heart will love the ground. I don't think the step back to 10 furlongs will prove an issue at all. I think she's a very game filly as well when she wants to be. She can stay as well. She's very speedy, and hopefully she'll be able to beat Inspire at around 3 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'll move on again to the fillies and mares turf, if you like, because that's where my next selection comes. I think you have to take on Inspiral stepping up a trip. You really do. I mean, she has been admirable this season in her performances, but I've got to take her on stepping up to the 10. Warm Heart is definitely the danger, like you say. So impressive in the Yorkshire Oak, so impressive in the Vermeer, beating top quality horses in doing so. But I have to stay loyal to Mrs. Consistent in here, and in Italian, who I believe I've actually put up for this race last year when she finished second in this. But she is just so consistent. I think I probably used the same line this time last year, but it's only been outside the top 2 once, where she actually finished third in 2022. But look, she was quite unlucky last year. She came out wide. She was about 4 or 5 wide on the bend. She was never going to get to Tuesday in the race, but she did give it a good go. She was a length off her that day. I've got a feeling she's going to come out in her big displays this year. She's been performing well in big grade ones. winning by sort of 3+ lengths in the majority of these. She's finished second on her last 2 starts, over a mile. I think the step up in trip's going to see her better suit, and in Italian she won't be outside the top 2, and she's around sort of the 5-1 mark, so I'll be taking that there. Jack, is this your final selection?
It is my final selection. In Italian, yeah, interesting one. She got caught by Tuesday. She's drawn a lot better than she was last year. But my last selection is, of course, going to be Mostadaf in the Breeders' Cup Turf. And what a Breeders' Cup Turf it is. Look, I don't think it's a ridiculous statement to put up Mostadaf, Auguste Rodin, King of Steel, however you want to go with it. Even more like Goddess all the way down to Bolshoi Ballet as well. But Mostadaf, look, that form behind Equinox in the Shima Classic is the best piece of form all year. Look, I mean, people have gone through it time and time again. Equinox, Westover, Zagre at the 1, 2, 3 with Mostadaf in 4th before he went and won the Prince of Wales by none other than 4 lengths, and then followed up in the Yorkshire Oaks, beating Nashua and Paddington by a length. Look, he has a monstrous turn of foot, a mile and a half shouldn't be a problem. He won over a mile and a half at Kempton, beating Dubai Honour by nearly 3 lengths last year in September. Hopefully, I think him going to Ascot and then being pulled out, I hope that hasn't left his mark on him. So because I know sometimes the journey itself can do. But Mostadaf at 3-1, it's no ridiculous price, but I think he is just going to win in the Breeders' Cup Turf.
There you go. You could put up Auguste Rodin, Mostadaf, King of Steel, Warlike Goddess, Bolshoi Ballet, but no, that's not who I'll be putting up in the race. I'll be putting up Onesto in here.
Sam.
No. This is
getting boring. Your French propaganda is getting boring.
Let me make my case. Drawn in 2, which is absolutely perfect for this race, was 3rd in the art behind what's got to be, bar Equinox, the best racehorse we've seen this season in Ace Impact. That was on quick going. That's what we're going to get out here. I knew this horse was going to be well prepped for an autumn campaign after the Prix-Jacques Le Marois run where the horse finished 4th. I'm not sure what happened in the Irish Champion Stakes. Throw a line through that, but the performance in the Arc was absolutely sensational. This has obviously been the plan since the Arc. They probably had it in mind before the Arc to come here for this race. Like I say, he ran an absolutely lovely race. I don't think he had too hard a race. The one thing that is interesting is that Bolshoi Ballet and Broome are in this race. Now, they're there most likely to try and set this up for Auguste Rodin and make it a little bit of a test. Now, if it does become a test, it won't just sort Auguste Rodin out, it will sort Ernesto out. I think he's going to love to come off a strong pace. I think we're going to see a big display from him. He's 13-2. I have him a lot shorter compared to Auguste Rodin, and I've got a feeling this could be the bet of the whole weekend. Ernesto, I can see him running very, very well. I'd be shocked if he's out the placings, and I think he could go and win the Breeders' Cup Turf. So you can take my French propaganda all you want, Jack, but at the end of the day, I think this race has been set up for him by the Ballydoyle pacemakers. So we'll just wait and see, eh?
Yeah, I know you're nothing if not predictable. So hey, I commend you for that.
I could have put up more French horses if I really wanted to. I think Le Pavots could have been another one, but that horse is drawn really wide. But there are a few that I could have done. But I suppose you should probably give a nap, shouldn't you? Out of your 4 selections, if you had to pick a best selection. I mean, I'm going to go with Ernesto, just slightly over Kalina, 2 French horses. But yeah, I'm going to go with Ernesto in the Breeders' Cup Turf. Who are you going to be with?
I'm going to go with, you've gone Ernesto, so I can't go Mostaf. I'm going to go Songline, the Japanese raider in the Breeders' Cup Mile.
Lovely stuff. And that's it for our preview this week. We're now not back until the November meeting at Cheltenham. Just quickly, did you enjoy Cheltenham at the weekend, Jack? You probably caught little bits of it.
I did, you know. It was good. Who was I impressed with? Obviously, Florian Porter was pretty impressive. Blue King Doro was really impressive. I do think you still have to look at Spirit Donu from that race on softer ground. But no, it was a good weekend. Did you?
Yeah, well, I haven't as of yet. I actually switched off from racing for the first time in probably about 7 years. I don't think I saw a single race, to be totally honest, which was quite nice to get away from everything, but I'll be catching up with everything and watching a few replays over the next week or so. So, yeah, we're going to be back for the November meeting at Cheltenham. That's our next preview coming up, so do look forward to that. Let us know down in the comments who you're going to be backing for the Breeders' Cup this weekend. Give the video a like, subscribe as always, and we will see you again very soon. Thanks for watching.